Okay, is everybody good? Cool. Danny, you just got done announcing a lot of fights. What's going on, man? Just got done announcing a lot of fights, including I saw some foreign fighters, like Dan Hooker is going to be fighting here in Vegas. So are things changing? Are we able to get foreign fighters in to fight in Vegas now?
I don't know how that one worked out, but that one was always planned to be here. Yeah, I don't know how that one worked out, but yeah, we got that one done.
Nice.
And listen, if we could get fighters in here, we'd be, I think we have different challenges with different countries, and the president, when we did the task force, and everybody was on the phone with the president. The president said he would do what he could to get everybody in. But when you start thinking about, all the different sports and all the different people. I mean, in hockey, they have so many different guys from out of the country. I just don't know how many they could really help us get in. So Fight Island makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, no worries. August 15th, Stipe Miocic, Dana Cormier. We know that's official now. It said location to be determined. Is there any reason to believe it wouldn't be here in Las Vegas?
No. Location to be determined because we literally don't know how this whole thing's going to play out and what's going to, I don't know what's going to happen by August. I don't know where we're going to be or, as far as quarantine, mass, coronavirus cases. I'm just playing it safe.
So, I mean, are you hopeful, though, that maybe there would be an arena somewhere that could host this instead of the Apex?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, if they open it back up to fans, that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head right to an arena where fans can go.
Fight Island finally official this week. You don't have to deflect anymore. You don't have to, hide it anymore. I guess, what are your thoughts now that's official? As you said, I think some people had built it up to be this magical place on a tropical island, and the reality was, less than the fantasy. So what do you think now that it's all out there?
Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, it's an incredible thing that we pulled off. They have this thing called the safety zone. It's 10 square miles where only we exist on the island. At the hotel, restaurants, every fighter has their own private training facility. It's going to be a very unique experience. Very cool.
Massive card with the pay-per-view. I think the only surprise was that Gilbert Burns was in there instead of Jorge Masvidal. We understand where Masvidal has been at. But I guess, can you just talk about having to make that
decision? Not a surprise. I mean, this is what we do. I mean, we've been doing this for 20 years. People who want to fight get fights, and people who don't. And he's the number one ranked guy in the world. Number one versus the champion. And this kid wants to stay busy, These kids that come out and go on runs like Burns is on and want to keep fighting and stay active, they're healthy, and they want to. It's the smartest thing you could do, And it doesn't surprise me that Masvidal, Masvidal is very much like the Diaz brothers, He beats to the sound of his own drum. When he wants to do something, he does it, and it's not very surprising at all.
So any alternate plans for Masvidal right now, or is it just kind of a wait and see and let him come to you?
Yeah. Listen, I'm putting on fights every weekend for the next 10 years, all right? And if you want to fight, call us. We'll offer you fights, and if you don't want to take them, you don't have to. It's always been that way. Everybody's acting like this is like some new fucking drama that just popped up, and this has never happened before in the history of the sport. This happens all the time, nonstop.
How close are we to getting the other main events in Abu Dhabi on Fight Island, the 15th, the 18th, the 25th? Are those done? Are those ready to be announced?
What's the question?
The other three cards in Abu Dhabi. How close are we to having?
We're close. Events? Yeah, we're close. We'll have them announced soon.
Very nice. Conor McGregor last week surprised us with his retirement. Have you had a chance to follow up with him, speak with him at all?
No, we haven't talked. He's doing his thing.
Nice. Two last questions for me. Fighter pay has been a big discussion. You got grilled on ESPN, all those things. I'm curious. I mean, you've laid out the scenarios with these individual fighters, but is there room for a bigger discussion? Can there be greater revenue? That sort of thing?
Again, like the thing that I went through with Kevin the other day. I went through this with Kevin the other day. This isn't new either. There's a lot of new people covering us. There's a lot of new people that don't know a lot about the sport. That's new. This isn't new. This is the same old shit.
Last question for me.
And all these fighters that are, they share in the revenue. They do share in the revenue. They have the upside in the pay-per-view, And guys that sell pay-per-view make a lot of money.
Last question for me. There was a question last week as well that I think got confused. It was about the Black Lives Matter movement. And the question I think was, there's a lot of companies, whether it be sporting organizations, businesses, that sort of thing, that are making statements about where they stand, how they can maybe do better to promote equality. Does the UFC have any thoughts or any plans on issuing a statement like that, on what it can do or how things can be changed?
Well, I mean, when do we do anything like all the other sports leagues do? I mean, we don't really do anything like any of the other sports leagues do. And I'm one of those guys that we do a lot. We do a lot in the community. We do a lot across the country for charity. I just don't stand up and talk about it. I'm not really that guy. When you do things, you do it because you want to do it, not because you want the PR from it. When asked about my stance on our fighters being a part of Black Lives Matter and speak, I said, absolutely. They can do whatever they want. That's your God-given right to get out there. Israel Adesanya was leading up the charge out, and everybody's going to deal with this in their own way. All of our guys are going to handle this and deal with this in their own way, no matter what their thoughts are on this thing. And I've never been the guy that you've seen out there, telling you what we do as far as charity goes and things like that. It's not really what we do.
I don't know. Is Fight Island part of the deal you already have with Abu Dhabi, or is it a completely separate thing?
No, it's separate. Yeah, no, this is completely different than we did a 5-year deal with those guys to bring fights out there. Then all of a sudden, the world goes to shit, and I'm like, yeah, can I borrow your fucking island? Yeah, no, it's a completely different deal.
Were they always the front runners, or were you talking to other people, other islands, that sort of stuff?
You'd be blown away by the people that we talk to. Yeah.
So if this is outside of the standard deal with them, does that mean we could end up going back to Abu Dhabi later this year?
Yeah, no, we will. I owe them. This has nothing to do with the 5-year deal that I have with Abu Dhabi to put fights on over there. This is completely separate.
Would the front runner for that be Khabib versus Justin?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Dan.
Dana over here. I think a lot of non-MMA fans, also got into the idea of Fight Island. For those people who don't normally understand the logistics of holding an event, can you explain why they're not getting the live fights on a beach and the tiki torches and all that stuff that they ran away with?
Yeah, you first of all, the lighting grid. I mean, you couldn't put the lighting grid on a beach. You could try it. I don't think it's going to turn out very well. I'm always afraid of the elements, wind, rain, all the things that can happen. I like the comfort and safety of an arena and pulling off a perfect show. I mean, that's what I'm into every single time we go out and do it. So yeah, I mean, pulling off what the fantasy of Fight Island was is pretty tough. And I think it would look like shit on TV too.
Gotcha. You obviously announced quite a lot, but there are still a few fights out there that we're interested in. Do we have any update on when we might see Adesanya and Costa and Valentina versus Jojo Calderwood?
So yesterday we had our matchmaking meeting was delayed this week. We had it yesterday, and I was just saying to Laura Sanko, the fights that we have scheduled this summer are so awesome, man. This is a wacky, crazy year. But the fights that are coming up this summer are awesome. It's going to be awesome.
Final question from me. One of the things that Jessica I had talked about in the past before she took her hiatus is that Dana White told her, hey, maybe step back and take a break. Can you just talk about, I guess that moment and what it's been like to see her bounce back and go on the run that she's had?
Who did I tell to take a break?
Jessica I.
Oh, yeah. So what's your question?
I guess when you told her to take a break, just what was your mindset in having her step away after going on the losing streak? And then what's it been like to watch her bounce back and be a title challenger and everything else?
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes you gotta let your body heal, take a rest, relax, refocus, and come back. And it looks like she's done that. She's a good kid. She likes to fight. She needs to get her weight under control and figure out how to make weight with half the other card this weekend. But what are you going to do?
speaking on that, Carl Roberson missed weight again ahead of his Marvin Vettori fight. Is he have to go up to light heavyweight now?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's see what happens tonight. But yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem. And you know, you can't blame anything right now, because if you look at the cards that we put on, especially the first one coming right out of the pandemic, you know, everybody's been making weight. So that's never an excuse. If you can't make weight, don't accept the fight.
And then for Fight Island, it's going to be a full-size octagon. It's not going to be a smaller one.
Right. Full size.
Will fighters have to stay the whole month, or it'll be like Jacksonville, where they come in, fight, and then they have to leave?
Yeah, there's some type of a quarantine that they're going to have to do. Yeah, but it's going to be, believe me, it's going to be a very nice situation. It's going to be, you know, it's not like we're quarantined up here at the, I don't want to shit on them, but you know what I mean, at the hotel that we're at over here. It's going to be really nice. We appreciate everything these people have done for us too, but it won't be that.
And just to clarify, I think you said something about how Conor could have had that replacement fight against Tony.
Oh, yeah, thank you for asking me that question. The bullshit that I have read this week, I started scrolling through. Dana White rips Conor McGregor. Dana White, what? When did I fucking rip Conor McGregor? The media is so full of shit, and the fucking headlines are such fucking bullshit. It's unbelievable. You literally can't believe anything you read. Now, is there anybody in this room that didn't know when I announced, I said, if this could be Tony fight, if somebody falls out, Conor's going to be the replacement? Who doesn't remember that? Right? That was the deal. The deal was I talked to Conor. Then Conor came back and said, I'm not a replacement fighter. I'm not going to do it. Long before the fight ever fell out. But Conor was saying before that fight fell out that it would fall out. He said one of these two are going to fall out, and then I'll slide in and take the fight. Then when the fight fell out, you know, the coronavirus was going on and all that shit. Everything started to shut down, and we were looking at you know, the casino in California. Never did Conor turn down a last-minute fight. He told us way before that he was out of the fight, and we never even asked him again. So I do one interview where I'm explaining on the radio how this happened, and all these idiots start writing stories that I ripped him and that I said he wouldn't take the fight and everything else. It's all bullshit. Absolute fucking bullshit. And the only thing that was stupider than the fucking stories they wrote was the headlines that they put on it. It's fucking unbelievable. You literally cannot believe anything you read. And if you fucking went in and searched, the whole top thing was bullshit stories about Conor, me ripping Conor and me fucking saying that Conor turned down a fight.
Well, I think that was the confusion. He didn't turn down the fight in Jacksonville, right? You never asked him?
Exactly. So when Conor, I was telling you guys, Conor McGregor will be the replacement. And you guys were like, well, holy shit, the gate will already be sold. You know, and the gate's 5.5, 6 million. Conor would have done maybe fucking, you know, I said, yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? That it is what it is, but Conor's going to do it. And apparently, you know, Conor thought about it and said, fuck that. I'm not a replacement fighter. I'm not going to be looked at as I'm sliding in as a replacement for one of these guys. So he said, I'm not going to do it. I told you guys Conor was out. I said, Conor's not going to, you know, won't be the replacement now. And, yeah, so we never even asked Conor to fight. So I say this, I think it was on Jim Rome that I said it. I say this thing, and fucking like CBS Sports. This isn't like fucking, you know, Bloody Elbow or some shit. You know what I mean? CBS Sports fucking wrote it. Crazy, man. Just fucking unbelievable.
Well, would he even have been able to get into the country, even if he did want to fight in Jacksonville because of the pandemic?
Could he get in the country?
Because of the pandemic? Like, if he had accepted a fight in Jacksonville, could he even have gotten in?
I don't know.
I think that was the other confusion.
Yeah, no, but that's true.
Get in.
You know, for a while there, we had that fight coming up in the UK. And when the president had shut things down, he kept it open for the UK, and then eventually that got shut off too. So I don't believe he could have. I'm not saying that we couldn't have got it done if we had to. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but probably not. That's why we're doing Fight Island.
Dana, can you walk us through how you came about with getting Yas Island, Fight Island, under jurisdiction of Abu Dhabi? How difficult is that to do?
I'm sorry. What's the question?
Could you go through how you got the Fight Island fight with Abu Dhabi, Yas Island? I mean, how difficult is that to do with dealing with Abu Dhabi on making that happen.
Yeah, and listen, the guys in Abu Dhabi have always been great partners to us. They're huge UFC fans. They love the sport. You guys know they're huge jiu-jitsu fans. But in everybody that we dealt with trying to figure out a Fight Island, there were a lot of concerns with the virus, and especially we were looking for a place where we could bring people in from all over the world, and some parts of the world were worse than others in dealing with the virus. So it was tricky. But these guys are really smart guys. They're very progressive guys, and they're actually fun to deal with. So it worked out perfect.
So was it too under the conditions of the pandemic? There weren't any hurdles, obviously.
Oh, there were huge hurdles. There were massive hurdles. It took a long time to get this thing done, and to get it dialed in. You can't just call a place and say, "Hey, we want to come over there and do fights." We had to have a plan on how we could protect the people that we're bringing in and make sure it was safe, yet protect the citizens of Abu Dhabi too. So, we had to do a lot of planning.
Are there any countries that are restricted from fighters coming from certain areas?
I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm sure there are.
But none that are affecting the cards, obviously.
No, not right now. Not with the Abu Dhabi situation.
Okay.
We've got that figured out. And the great thing about this is, too, if you think about it, we have 600 and something fighters under contract. By the time, we end this year, most of them will have been tested, and, they'll know where they stand with the coronavirus, whether they have the antibody or they never had it at all, or, it's a really cool way for not only our fighters to get paid and fight and work, but health-wise for them to figure out where they're at as far as the coronavirus goes.
Yeah, for sure. And then last for me, Vegas is open. You guys are open for business. So the casinos are reassessing on some things on how they're going to deal with the pandemic every 2 weeks. Now that you have several fights under your belt with the Nevada State Athletic Commission, are they going to reassess things sooner than later on making
I honestly don't know where this whole thing is headed. All I care about right now is that I have my international fights figured out, and I got this figured out over here. We have a good system. I told everybody that we could do this, and we did it, and we're going to continue to do it. I mean, if this is the way we have to live for a little while, then so be it. But as long as we can run our business and do what we're doing, and for you guys too. I mean, for you guys to have, fights to cover, and it's good for all of us, man.
But any feedback from the commission itself on how it's going?
Thrilled. They were thrilled with how it went. If you really look at it too, if you look at what we've been able to accomplish, especially with all the fucking craziness that's going on right now. I mean, we're putting on good competitive fights coming out of a pandemic. Not everybody's been putting on competitive fights coming out of the gate. So if you look at what we've done, it's been impressive.
Dana, yesterday there was an issue with Gustavo Lopez's contract, and I'm wondering if you were in on that at all. Did you speak to Campbell, kind of explain what happened behind the scenes?
I don't know anything about it.
He was still under contract with Combate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he wasn't given, Campbell said he wasn't given the right to match the contract.
Why the fuck would nobody tell me that one? Huh.
Yeah, Combate did later say that they would allow him to come to the UFC, but at first they were saying that they were not given the right to match.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I'm actually very fucking pissed off that I didn't know about that. So, thank you.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Dana, one final one right here. What do you do with Marlon Moraes? He was supposed to fight Peter Yan, and he does have a win over Jose Aldo. Now he's left without a fight.
What about it?
What do you do with him next, Marlon?
Well, obviously, this last card, a lot of stuff played out in that weight division, and, we'll figure something out with him next. Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head, though. He'll get a fight. We got plenty of fights coming up. He wants to fight Cruz? No, I like that. Deal.
Do you have any update about Anderson Silva's situation?
Anderson Silva situation?
Yeah. He
What
was
do
asking to
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. That they were going back and forth. Yeah, no. Him and Pettis? Yeah, no. I mean, guys talk shit every day on Twitter and social media.
So what do you think about? Do you have any plans for him?
Not right now. No. Cool. Thanks, guys. So what happened was, apparently, this was Sean Shelby did this deal. Sean Shelby did a deal with this guy's manager, and the matchmaker from Kambache signed off and said, yeah, he can do it. Campbell McLaren didn't know. So when he saw it, apparently he tweeted out something like, oh, he's not under, we haven't had a right to match. And that wasn't the case. He was released. So then when he found out, then he said, oh, okay, he's free to deal. That's what happened. And Sean Shelby was dealing with it. And I hadn't talked to Sean Shelby. So it wasn't a big deal. Not as much drama as it seemed on social media. All right? Thanks, guys.